It is a great day to be alive in Pittsburgh, PA. Good morning, everybody. Friends, yinzers, countrymen, welcome into another edition of Kaboly+Mack. Make sure you're following on social media and on YouTube. We're about 50 followers on Instagram away from giving somebody, one of those first 500 Instagram followers to the Kaboly+Mack account, is $100 Yoli's Cucina and Craft House gift certificate, which you can use to go get something delicious to eat. Get the old Pappy Nola. That's Kaboom's favorite. Get an ice cold iron while you're there. Their wings are delicious. Everything is fantastic there. So get to Yoli's in Jefferson Hills. We love those folks. Kaboly's messing with his camera. We appreciate that. We appreciate all of you supporting the show. We're about 150, 160 subscribers away on YouTube from hitting that next magical number of 3,018. Why 18? Because, well, we've got your choice. If you're one of the first 3,018 subscribers on YouTube and we pull your name, you'll get to choose between an autographed Will Howard Steelers helmet, thus the 18, or an autographed Stone Cold Steve Austin black leather vest, which
We
never know.
should have did 316.
We could have done that. Yeah. Oh well. Too late.
What?
3,018. But if you win the Stone Cold
What?
vest, I would never recommend wearing it. But if you want to be one of those people that wears autographed stuff, which I again don't recommend, it'd be just in time for Halloween. Shave your head, go Stone Cold for Halloween. Kaboom.
Vince Williams.
Yeah, exactly. So we appreciate you joining us. Thanks as always to our friends at Southwest Greens for being on board with the show. They've been here since the very beginning. Grass that never needs to be mowed, watered, or fertilized. What? It is fantastic because you have the best looking yard in the neighborhood with the least amount of maintenance. Get a hold of them. It's artificial grass, but it doesn't look fake. It doesn't feel fake. It doesn't act fake. It looks, feels, acts like real grass. Perfect for you and the family so you can enjoy your yard all the time without having to worry about watering it, mowing it, spraying fertilizer on it, whatever else you got to do to it. Go to southwestgreenspa.com. We appreciate them supporting the show.
Any truth of the matter that they got called by Acrisure Stadium?
Man, they need to call somebody. I don't think the Roonies would ever consider artificial grass, but I mean,
don't think that's them though.
Like the real thing.
I don't think it's the Roonies. I think that's a sports authority, whatever sports
and exhibition authority. I don't know.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with them being cheap. I think it's all about that office of this county or the city that does that
as
stuff.
I have learned over the last couple of days, and our buddy Tone Diggs, the Pat McAfee show, has learned to a greater extent over the last couple of days. Don't question Pitt football.
H2P, baby.
Oh, you must go to a state. Ooh, how's it feel to get your coach fired?
Another thing is Yoey. They come after him all the time, so he gets really upset.
Here's the thing. I've said this before, and people call me crazy for saying it. I like to see Pitt do well. I like to see WVU do well. Now, I'm a Penn State guy, so Penn State is number one on my list, but that doesn't mean I want to see Pitt fail. I don't. And I don't think it's a shot to say that it would be a better atmosphere on game days if they played in not in a 67,000 seat, half empty stadium.
Well,
that's I think the only point Tone and myself are trying to make here is that it's silly to me that a 67,000 seat stadium gets set aside 8 times a year, 7 times a year, whatever it may be, for a team that has trouble drawing 35 or 40. I don't care what the ticket sold number is. Don't give me that crap. We know how that works. I mean, just pan the seats on a typical Saturday afternoon, and a lot of times there's not a lot of people there. I don't think I'm speaking out of school to say that. I don't think anybody is.
And as we say that, our YouTube subscribers are going down and down
They're
and
not.
down.
Don't be afraid of the H2P.
The great Phil Maines has just unsubscribed to us.
No, Phil wouldn't unsubscribe.
He's an H2P'er, but not an H2P'er.
Exactly. He's normal and realistic, right? Same way I am with Penn State. I'm not putting. I don't have a Joe Pa statue in my backyard, for God's sake. Like, And that has nothing to do with Pitt. Anyway, we're off on a tangent. Speaking of tangents.
Hey, just think though, you might be able to get a good coach coming in here. Like,
what are you gonna do?
I'm just trying to think of every
Take a
local
shot.
coach
Go ahead.
possible.
Take a shot.
You know what? Honestly, I'll give one question. One thing about Penn State is, I think they should grab Brian Hartline from Ohio State. And I'll just stop there.
Ooh. Then they could have both of last year's Ohio State coordinators, or not last year's, but they could have two Ohio State coordinators.
You could go worse. You go down the worst path.
I mean, hasn't really worked out with Jim Knowles. I mean, you get carved up by Nico in LA.
Bill Chirpak.
Bill Chirpak near the top of the list. No, you know who I'd like to see them take a look at? And it's not one of the usual names. Like Cignetti, yeah, that'd be great if you could poach him from Indiana. Matt Rule, State College guy, Penn State guy, all that.
His buyout's huge, too.
Yeah. That Kenny Dillingham out at Arizona State. I like that guy.
I like the Pittsburgh always putting that in front of a guy's name. That Terry Dillingham.
That Kenny Dillingham guy.
Yeah, it just can't be Kenny Dillingham. It has to be that Kenny Dillingham.
No, that Kenny Dillingham guy. What was this all about? Can I ask? It's not a midnight tweet necessarily.
I've used that. I've used that many times.
What prompted it last night? Jealousy is an ugly emotion, maybe the worst emotion.
It is. It's by far. I'm speaking the truth on that one, isn't it?
Yeah, but what prompted it? You had an afternoon and evening full of kids' activities, did you not?
Yeah, I'm jealous of everybody else's kids hitting the ball and not me. No, that's not the case. Because that was, you know what, that was near the end of that game. Now I think about it. No, some things just pop into your head, and you're like, yeah, that's right.
Okay, just a little bit of a Miyagi-san moment. It is true. You wanted to impart some wisdom on the world.
Honestly, it was probably social media related. When people come after you, and not necessarily they did for me, they probably did. I just don't pay attention. It's all based off of jealousy, and you just have to keep reminding yourself that. And that's anybody in life. If somebody doesn't like you or tries to talk down to you, it's mostly because they're jealous of you or jealous of what you've done, accomplished, your life.
I feel like that's a good. So. That's like I get these emails from Clint Hurdle every morning because I signed up for that years ago.
That's advanced there. That's way past
his little inspirational emails that he sends out every morning. And that sounds like something I'd see in one of those Clint Hurdle emails in the morning. Very centering, very, hey, just remind yourself, you're probably doing something right.
What about when Joe Rudder and him got in the Twitter battle like a month ago? That was classic.
Over what?
When Hurdle took the old golf cart out of the town the day before that. The day before as he got fired or whatever. He didn't finish the season, right?
Yeah, he basically they told him, "Hey, you're fired," and then they're like, "Hey, still want to manage the last game, Skip?"
So he made some kind of comment. I don't know if it was on Graves' comment on his Twitter account, and Hurdle mentioned, "Yeah, Joe, you just don't know the full story," and they were going back and forth.
Ooh.
I think they kissed and made up. So
that was good. Clint's an easy guy to make up with. I think he's a good dude. So
don't know him.
I got to know him a little. He'd get a little spicy. He'd get a little annoyed sometimes. We'll talk about a skipper, a head coach, getting annoyed here in just a second.
Like Parado now,
skipper. But first, we got to thank our friends at Higgins Professional Painting for supporting the show. They're about to do a fantastic job on Kaboly's wife's office. We might have them over here. We don't know what we're going to have them do yet. We had a leak from the upstairs, from the kids' bathroom into the living room ceiling the other night. That was fun.
You missed the toilet?
No, it was, I don't know what the hell he does in the shower. There's just water everywhere.
There's probably you probably need some caulking.
Yeah, we need some big old caulking. Anyway, might have them redo the ceiling in the living room. Who knows? They can do anything like that in your home. Drywall repair, interior, exterior painting. Make your house look great. fresh new coat of paint on the outside, up the curb appeal, get them to do something inside, sort of refresh the feel of your home. They can do industrial and commercial painting as well. They do it all. They've been doing it for 4 decades here in the Pittsburgh area. Family-owned business that supports the community, and we support them and thank them for supporting us. Higgins Professional Painting. Check them out, higginsprofessional.com for your free estimate, or 412-344-0480. All right, we've hemmed and hawed and beat around the bush enough. Mike Tomlin was a little spicy yesterday when he was asked particularly about Joe Flacco being traded in the division.
It was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us, because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
Well, tell us what you really think, what your real personal feelings are.
You don't want to hear those.
He hates Andrew Berry, doesn't he?
Yeah, that was teed up and ready to come. I was just wondering how far he was going to take it. I didn't think he was going to take it that far.
Why does he? I mean, so there's 2 lanes to this. One is, why did he feel the need to make that comment yesterday? I imagine it's because he doesn't like the idea of facing Flacco. I don't know, but
I don't know if that's the case or not.
So he just doesn't like Andrew Berry, is the way.
What I'm under the belief of, just talking around, not even the Steelers, around the league circles, is he might not be a well-liked person by many of people. But I rode the elevator with him the other day and just started chuckling because I had an inkling of what might be coming on Monday.
Really? So you're in an elevator with Mike T, and somebody mentioned something about Andrew Berry?
No, Andrew Berry was in the elevator coming down from the stadium. And I was like, oh, if he only knew tomorrow. But I don't know, maybe I thought it was because of the Flacco incident. He pretty much
just because it's like when you're at a blackjack table. Do you play blackjack, Kaboom?
Not professionally.
No, neither do I. But it's my favorite thing to play if I go to the casino and I'm going to play table games. Really good blackjack players will get pissed off when somebody does something that they're not supposed to do because it screws up the deck for everybody else.
Yeah.
Is it that? Do people dislike Andrew Berry because he's a bad blackjack player? He's a bad GM and does stupid shit?
It could be he was just sticking up for Stefanski a little bit too. I don't know this. I'm just thinking that's a possibility because it seems sure like Andrew Berry's worried about Andrew Berry and not Kevin Stefanski. But I don't know why that all of a sudden graded Mike Tomlin the wrong way. When does he ever give a statement like that or think out of the box like that? So there's probably some, I would imagine, deep down, I wouldn't say hatred, but dislike between him and what he does. And, as I was told by somebody, he thinks he's the smartest dumb guy I've ever met. Didn't he go to Harvard or Yale or something like that?
I don't know. Yeah. He's the smartest dumb guy I've ever met. That's priceless.
Where we were. I think it was Yale, didn't he?
Harvard.
Harvard.
Went to Bel Air High School, Bel Air, Maryland. So not quite the same as the Fresh Prince, but yeah, Mike Tomlin was extra spicy yesterday.
Well, you guys were annoying me today.
I'm glad about that because I was going to ask the final question. I thought Bert was going to say anything else. So as he started to say something, I started to ask a question, and Bert said, "Okay, that's good. We're done." So my question was going to be like, my question was going to be, Mike, I know this is not at the top of your list, but what's up with Will Howard? I'm like, I'm sure that would have went over well.
That would have gone like a lead balloon.
So then they looked at me. I'm like, no, I'm good.
You can go now. Why was he so spicy yesterday? Is it lack of sleep because it's a short week? Like what's going on?
I really didn't find him more spicy. I thought it was actually entertaining. I don't know, what did he get upset about? Maybe, he had his ass kicked 19 times before or whatever. Right. I mean, there was he didn't like the Caleb Johnson question about the fumbles and getting the chance back, but mostly because he answered the question before that. He answered it on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else was fair. It was nothing out of bounds, I don't think. I mean, the Andrew Berry thing was anticipated, so that wasn't out of bounds. What would have got him riled up? I don't know. I didn't view him as being over the top dick. Nothing like that.
No. He wasn't that. It was just those couple little moments. The Andrew Berry soliloquy. Man, y'all annoyed me on the way out the door.
He normally says some stuff like that beforehand or after the case. It's this one might just got caught on camera. But he knows it's still a live mic, so it's not like he didn't realize that either.
That's true. I mean, he's at a point where, I mean, he doesn't have to be nice to you guys. He doesn't.
He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You think he's give it second thought that the whole Cleveland radio station dynamic is absolutely blowing up since then?
No, he probably if you got a behind the scenes on a lie detector, he'd probably tell you exactly what he's really thinking, which is that's funny. That's funny that everybody in Cleveland's losing their mind right now.
Maybe he's a Stefanski guy. Maybe he doesn't like maybe he knows some other stuff of Barry's just, trying to screw everybody except himself. I don't know. But it is to a degree where he felt the need to say something publicly, as he did say at one point a couple of days ago, I'm going to go viral. I'm like,
okay.
I'm glad you toned it down a little bit, or you definitely would have went viral.
Well, I think he has, and people in Cleveland were losing their minds already. Some of the clips from Sports Talk Radio up there were just phenomenal in the last 24 to 48
I got to
hours.
give it to our guy Ken Carmen.
Kenny was beat red.
Destroying Myles Garrett. He was destroying Myles Garrett.
Destroyed Myles.
Just get the hell out of here.
I texted Kenny last week, and he didn't see it. It wasn't a text. It was a message. And he didn't see it at first. And he does a million other things besides his morning radio show up there in Cleveland. So we'll get him or somebody from Cleveland on before the game in December, which at that point they'll be talking about a top 5 draft pick most likely. So I can imagine how they'll feel then if they feel as defeated as they do right now.
They have to be feel defeated. Like I said, they're not worried about this year. They're not worried about next year. They're worried about the year 2029. I'm telling you when the stadium opens up, that's what they're worrying about. Little do they know is Andrew Berry, you're probably not going to be around by then. You might not be around by the end of the year. The owner there, he's a little bit volatile at times.
He's a dunce too, Jimmy Haslam.
Yeah, so.
I mean, that place isn't going to get any better as long as he owns. Like, if you're a Pirates fan, you know how angry you get at ownership? They're living the same thing up in Cleveland with the Browns. Thanks to our friends at Impact HVAC for supporting the show. Get your furnace checked out before it starts to get cold out, and you got to be using it every day before it kicks on the first time. They'll come out and run a full furnace check for you. Make sure everything's working correctly. If it's not, they'll tell you what needs to be fixed. Maintenance, repair, replacement, anything that's on the table, they'll give you the best possible deal and take care of you. Impact HVAC, PGH, on Facebook. You can message them directly there or just give them a call at 412-297-1852. We appreciate Impact HVAC supporting the show. All right, back to the Steelers specifically. Dan Orlovsky was on the McAfee show yesterday.
And by the way, the two things we're bitching about is the field and Andrew Berry, so things must be going well.
Exactly. Things are going well. Even though they didn't light up the scoreboard necessarily against Cleveland, it's a good defense. We've deduced that, especially on the defensive line. They contained Myles Garrett. He did nothing, had 1 tackle on the day.
And still had the same PFF grade as TJ Watt and Nick Herbig.
Yeah, 99.999, probably. That's what you get.
Honestly, they were in the 80s. I think they weren't very far off at all.
Which is just silly. Nick Herbig had the game of a lifetime and whatever.
What was his rush rate?
What was his pass rush win rate? But there are reasons to feel positive about this offense. And Dan Orlovsky was on the McAfee show yesterday. A couple of clips I wanted to play. including the one where he's got a good way of describing what this offense is doing right now.
Kind of categorize the offense after a couple weeks now is like it's creatively cautious, and that's meant as a positive and a compliment. Here's the way I view it right now. They started this 6 offensive line package where there's 6 offensive linemen on the field, and sometimes there's 1 tight end, sometimes there's 2 tight ends. This is like 3 or 4 weeks of it. Now, when they started it, there was really only 1 play out of it, right? They're doing a lot of this. I'm going to get to this. There's only 1 play out of it. Yesterday, they had 6 different plays out of that 6 offensive line package. So, like, I love when teams take simple things and just make them look complicated to the defense. So now they're doing things, at least from an offensive perspective, is simple for them, but it's complicated to the defense.
I like the way he described that, Kaboom. They're keeping it simple, but it's giving them enough layers of options in each formation, in each set, in each play, maybe, that it's not overloading anybody with information. Not that the quarterback couldn't handle it, but the rest of the offense, they're trying to do simple things really well. And I think that's important. And I think it's probably a big reason why we've seen the improvement from the offensive line that we've seen over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said that yesterday about being basically cautious in that first quarter and a half. They just didn't want to give things away there. But, I mean, I'd have to bring up that Dano did say they were going to start off 0-6.
I know. I was going to leave that to the people in the comments. I wasn't going to say it myself. But
I mean, I think Tone got that as his freaking screensaver on his phone. So, yeah, I mean, he's right. I mean, Arthur Smith has been a low-key hero to this all so far of how this offense is working, because he's been able to take different things, or basically hiding certain weaknesses and accentuating the positives. And I just don't see, honestly, I just can't see, well, maybe this week, but Green Bay and further on, that they can do this 6 offensive linemen and Darnell Washington.
I mean, would they run it on Sunday, like at least a dozen times, right?
Yeah, you got another 4-3 team coming up here.
Right. So Green Bay a 4-3 team.
Yeah,
you want to neutralize Micah Parsons.
I don't think you can live and die by that. So maybe they feel the need that they're going to have to expand it to, like Dano said, that 1 play to 5 plays to 6 plays. But how many plays can you run out of 7 offensive linemen if you're counting Darnell Washington?
I disagree, because we talked about it way back when they signed, or when they traded for Jonnu Smith. Like, this opens up. You could put 3 tight ends on the field. Hell, you could put all 4 out there at the same time if you wanted to. And you can still be pretty creative, because all 4 of those guys are capable of running routes and catching the football. And at least two, they're all pretty good to very good blockers. Okay.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will crush Pat for his blocking, but I think that's in relation more to Darnell than it is.
Well, yeah, I think he's adequate, above average. I think he is.
And that's what I mean. They have good to excellent blockers at the tight end position, all 4 of them. And so you can run or you can pass. You can do a million different things out of the multiple tight end sets that they're running, even with Spencer Anderson on the field. So I think Dan makes a great point about how they're starting to get, like he said, creatively cautious. They're slowly opening things up, not just from that formation, but I think from all formations. And they're starting to find that identity.
Honestly, I understand that, but I don't think that identity is sustainable throughout the season. That's my argument. I just don't see that you can move forward down through the season just having 6 offensive linemen and tight end, and ignore a wide receiver 2 and just have a 1 running back DK Metcalf. I just can't see that happen. Be a sustainable offense.
I don't
think there's enough plays you can create to make it a pro-like offense.
Well, so let me say this: that formation, I'm going to keep calling it the Isley's formation until that catches on. You can roll your eyes. The jumbo formation.
It's not going to catch on.
If you're an old Yinzer, you know what Isley's jumbo is. It's baloney. You go to Isley's, you ask for jumbo.
Baloney could be the worst meat ever. So,
do you like hot dogs?
I don't like bologna though. I'm not eating a
Do you like
bologna dog.
No, stay
I'm
with
not-
me for a second. Do you like hot dogs?
Depends. Sometimes I eat
Bologna's just a big hot dog.
No, it's not. You're full
Yes,
of
it is.
bologna. I mean,
My
first
point
of
is
all,
this.
sometimes I eat turkey dogs, but sometimes I actually prefer the
What?
old Nathan's.
Nathan's are good. You eat turkey hot dogs?
Sometimes, yeah, they're cheap as hell, and I'm a cheap ass.
What the hell kind of American are you?
Sometimes they're cheap
Turkey
ass,
hot
man.
dogs.
Get the kid a
You
turkey
put
dog.
lettuce
What the
on
hell's he-
top too?
Dude, it's a turkey dog. You freaking grill
Anyway.
it up and you put a doggone ketchup on it.
Whatever you want to call the formation, the jumbo package. That's if that was all they were doing. Yeah, Isley's formation. If that was all they were doing to be successful, I'd agree with you. I'd be like, yeah, this isn't sustainable, guys. But I think it's just one little lane that they're carving out, and they're carving it. Look, they ran well from 3 wide receiver sets multiple times on Sunday.
That's fine. I don't think they can fall in love with it and say, okay, we're starting here with Darnell, Spencer, Warren, and that's our bread and butter, and we'll play off of that. I think you have to have the other stuff, and you play off of that with the jumbo or the Isleys.
The Isley's package. Thank you. Continue doing that, and we'll see if we can make that a thing.
Is there any more Isley's shops?
I don't think there's any standalone Isleys anymore. There used to be one right on Brownsville Road in Carrick.
There used to be one in Monessen too.
Yeah,
I lived in the Mon Valley, but
old rundown places that don't have Isleys anymore. Carrick,
you'd have the old soda fountain.
Yeah, you could get ice cream there. Anyway, this is my point. What was that move?
Spraying it like the cherry vanilla into the Coke.
Okay, all right. I just didn't know what this was. That could go a lot of different ways. My point is this: if it's something that you're successful with that forces the other team into having to prepare for it or putting different personnel on the field that you can take advantage of, then I have no problem with it. It's the same as being able to run from 3 wide receiver sets. Like I said, they did a few times on Sunday. Anytime you can do something from a personnel package that maybe isn't expected or that another team has to prepare for that they didn't have to in the first place, I think it's a good thing. And again, you made this point a few weeks ago. It's going to take time for things to get rolling. And we were talking specifically about the offensive line, but I think this offense as a whole is slowly starting to, like I said, find its identity.
Yeah, I don't think this is a preferred offense of Arthur Smith, which is not a rip on him. I think that's actually compliment of him. He knows where the downsides are, where the holes are. So he's like, how are we going to fix this offensive line, Broderick Jones? Okay, let's go like this, that, and this to be able to help the offensive line. I'll help the run game up. If it was up to me, I would rather have my offense be X, Y, Z, but I know that that's not really possible right now. So I think Arthur Smith is having a hell of a first month of the season.
You got red paint, you paint the barn red, right?
Well, I think he has a bunch of different colors. The red's what he has the most of, or is the one that covers the most, right?
Okay, yeah. We'll check with the guys from Higgins, see if that makes sense or not. Here's another thing that Dan said that definitely caught my attention.
A conscious effort of them constantly being like, let's be efficient. I really, last year they were doing some, like, having some success, and you guys remember me saying like, hey, it ain't good enough on offense. It's not going to beat teams that actually matter. I feel differently about this group. Like, I watched this offense for the past 3 weeks, and I go, this offense can be good enough to beat a Buffalo, a Kansas City, an Indy. Because they're efficient.
They're efficient. You heard Pat balk at the idea.
No, I actually didn't hear anything. All I had was a spinning wheel. So I hope it came across to everybody else.
It did. We all saw it. You didn't see it.
That's why I was spinning my head like a spinning wheel. I didn't see anything.
Gotta get you some better Wi-Fi there, Kaboom.
Maybe you should have some better.
Well, if I saw it and everybody else saw it, then I think it's a you problem. The point Orlovsky was making yesterday was, at least in that clip, he thinks this is sustainable and that they can beat teams like Buffalo, Kansas City, Indy. I don't know if I'd go that far yet. I think I've got to see some more growth from this thing.
I don't know. Buffalo's turning into a little bit of a farce all of a sudden, huh?
little bit of a pumpkin. Some injuries on defense there, but they did not look good in the first half against Atlanta.
Talk about not Bijan Robinson. It's just he's hit that sweet spot in his career, and there's nobody close. I honestly believe there's not a running back close to him in the league.
Not even Rico Dowdle. No.
Not even close.
I told you a Rico Dowdle revenge game was on tap. Anyway, no, he can line up anywhere. He can do anything once the football's in his hands. So it's hard to argue with the fact that Bijan is probably the best running back in the league right now.
Once again, I don't know. I disagree. I don't think it is sustainable, at least to the point where I think there's going to have to be some games where it disappears, then come back the next game.
Are you talking about
eventually that somebody's going to figure it out? You're going to have a bigger, badder.
You're talking about the jumbo package specifically, though.
Yes.
I think the point Dan was making was about
which
the
I couldn't hear.
Totality.
Which I couldn't hear.
Right. But he was talking about them just being efficient on offense, and go back to the first clip we played, creatively cautious. Like, they're not trying to do too much. They're not putting Aaron Rodgers in positions where he has to single-handedly do too much.
I mean, it helps when you have a quarterback that's accurate and smart and get your guys into the plays you need to be able to play and throw it to the right guys. I mean, he could have the same package with Russell Wilson, want to pull his hair
and it wouldn't
out
look the same.
Yeah. So he's taking advantage of.
It's not a knock on.
Has.
It's not a knock on Rodgers to say that they're building the offense so that he doesn't have to do too much. I don't think you want to ask any quarterback to have to do too much outside of like the Allens and Mahomes of the world, Lamar. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that you want to say, our offense is, he has a good game, and if he doesn't, we lose. So like, I think it's okay to recognize that they're building this thing so that they don't have to throw on everything on Rodgers' shoulders, and that they do make it is a bad term, manageable. That they're not getting behind the sticks, that it's not third and long all the time. And therefore, you do open up the playbook to a variety of different things you can do to keep the defense on their heels. I think any offense wants to do that.
Yeah, they want to do it, but sometimes that's not going to be available to them. I'm telling you, there's going to be a time here very soon where this jumbo package is not going to work, and you're going to have to pivot to something else. And I think they're more than capable of pivoting to something else. I just don't want them to get so much in love with this where they, pretty much throw everything else by the wayside.
I get what you're saying. I don't think they've even approached that point yet. If you use it for a dozen plays, which maybe they did. I think Spencer Anderson was on the field for 17 plays. I heard Tone mention this past Sunday. Not every single time he's out there, though, is it necessarily a jumbo package. Sometimes he's just an extra inline lineman, right?
They only have 50 some odd snaps, so you're still looking 30%, right? Somewhere.
Okay, like fair. But I don't think the offense is entirely predicated upon that. I'm going to call it the Isley's package again, the jumbo package. It's finding success in regular personnel too at times. Like, so I get what you're saying, and I tend to agree with what you're saying, that the way the offense has worked the past few weeks may not be sustainable all year, especially against better defenses. But I think for the time being, you got to be happy with some of the growth and just the fact that they're, like I said, starting to find an identity. When your tight ends go for 8 catches on 11 targets for over 100 yards and a touchdown, I don't care if it's split up between 3 or 4 guys or not. That's what an Arthur Smith offense is supposed to do.
I just honestly think you could use 81 and 88 a little bit more than they've been using them.
Yeah.
As weapons.
And you can see that they're, at least with Jonnu, trying to design some ways to get him the ball. He had another jet sweep this past week. Pat, I don't know.
He's a zone breaker. Is that what he called him? A zone buster?
Zone beater.
Something like that.
But I'm just happy that it feels like they're starting to find some sort of identity. And whether it works the rest of the year or not, or just provides something for them to play off of down the line in the second half of the season, either way, I like it. I'll accept the fact that they're starting to find a little bit of an identity. Thanks to our friends at the Dan Heck team for supporting the show. They've been on board since the very beginning. You're looking to buy or sell a home in the Pittsburgh area. They are the ones to help you out. Check them out online. HeckTeamHomes.com. HAECK. HeckTeamHomes.com. Dan, Michelle, Jeremy, John, Keith, Heather, Mike, Tia, the whole team there to help you get into the perfect home, regardless of what you're looking for in the Pittsburgh area. Check them out. HeckTeamHomes.com, HAECK, HeckTeamHomes.com. Since we're talking about the offense, since we brought up Arthur Smith and the identity of this offense, we would be remiss if we didn't bring up the fact that yesterday, a place where Arthur used to work, his hometown, they got rid of their head coach. And now all those lists are coming out as they come out when a coach gets fired. Of people who could be in line for that job next. And right there at the top of the list, according to USA Today anyway.
Well, that dude got a long name.
Yeah. You want to try it?
No, come on.
You don't want to try it?
Okay, I mean, how weird would that be to be replaced by the guy, a team that hired by the team that fired you? Well,
Michael Middlehurst Schwartz thinks he's on the list of the top 10 candidates. Whether it's Tennessee or not. And look, Arthur Smith isn't going on any coaching interviews in week 6, week 7. And he makes I think it's funny that the first sentence of this paragraph is, he's another figure who won't dazzle as a hire. I don't think anybody's going to come kicking down the door to hire Arthur Smith. That's not a knock against him. I just don't think he's a guy that still somewhat recently removed from his last head coaching gig, people are going to be lining up to beat down the door to interview. I'm sure he'll still get some looks in the offseason, but I think there is a question about, okay, if they have a decently successful year on offense, is there a chance Arthur Smith is gone in the offseason? Because we know there's going to be at least half a dozen head coaching vacancies. It happens every offseason in the NFL.
Well, be based on how the season goes. If the offense continues to get better as a top 10 offense, of course, by default, you're a candidate. And that's weird how that happens. I mean, you put together one good year as an offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden everybody thinks you could be a head coach, even though he had 3 years of being a head coach, of being average, below average. Was he 7-9 all 3 years? Was he Jeff Fisher in it?
Yeah.
I think he does want to get back into coaching. I know he doesn't want to get back in. He doesn't want to do any college coaching. But I think it's still 10, 12 games down the road here that will determine whether or not he's a candidate for anything. But, yeah, you go listen if you're him. But I'm sure the old Benzy's going to ask him this question in about 90 minutes. And he's going to talk about elephants and – Robert E. Lee and whatnot. And then we're going to look at each other and say, what the hell did you just say?
How does Robert E. Lee figure into this?
He makes some interesting comparisons. It's like, we don't know what you're talking about.
Does anybody ever raise their hand and say, Artie, can you elaborate on that? Because I don't know what you're saying.
I did a story on him last year, and I was asking some of the guys, what are some of the weird stuff he says? And they're like, oh, geez, he says some stuff. I don't even know what the hell he's talking about. Like history buff.
Regardless, if the offense has some success this year.
Yes, absolutely. He's
a former head coach who's a coordinator for presumably a playoff team. Let's not jinx that, even though jinxes aren't real. But a former head coach who's a coordinator for a playoff team is going to get looks, regardless of where it is, when you've got the openings in the offseason.
And if you're Artie, do you look at Tennessee and say, boy, that's a good job to have? That's by far the worst team in the NFL.
That organization has become an absolute unmitigated disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been through 2 GMs in the last year and a half, I think. They can't settle on a head coach. They just, I mean, it started, what was it, 3 years ago they traded AJ Brown? I mean, that was when the death spiral started.
Then they're like, Vrabel, we don't like how you run things. Okay, I'll get the hell out of here then. I'll go somewhere else. I'll go to Ohio State, then I'll go to New England or wherever you end up going to. So you have to be careful too. I know the window. If he's truly interested in getting back into head coaching, it's a fine line, as the great Bill Coward say, of getting back into coaching and setting yourself up for failure. And that Tennessee is that fine line, my man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a question of what would you rather do? Stick around in Pittsburgh and maybe work with a young quarterback next year? Who knows what the quarterback situation?
What do you like? I mean, what do you like? What do you like? Something tells me that money is not motivating Arthur Smith to go be a head coach somewhere.
No,
you just like to coach ball. Do you just like to coach ball? Then just be a coordinator, right?
And probably a fairly well compensated coordinator, right? And
I don't think that matters.
Well, I'm sure he doesn't want to get paid minimum wage.
You happen to see his net worth.
No, I understand. He's got FedEx money. We're all well aware that Arthur isn't working for the money. But I think if you could choose between, am I going to stay in an established organization, again, who presumably is headed back to the playoffs this year, and we'll see what happens after that. Can I stay with that established organization and maybe build something up with a future young quarterback? Because we don't have any idea. I don't really care what next year's quarterback picture looks like right now. Or do I want to go, like you said, to a place that's just been a mess for the last few years, and a place that I may be familiar with, so I know just how bad the mess is. But it's just something to keep an eye on. Maybe when more attractive options open up in the offseason. You never know. What if the Giants fire Dayball in the offseason? And you got Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo and Malik Neighbors and big media market, New York. Maybe that. I'm just throwing an example out there, but he'll be on the short list for a lot of people, is my point. Get down to Archie's on Carson. Do yourself a favor. Get the wings. They're absolutely delicious. We had a little field trip down there on Friday night. Watched some football. Talked to some folks. They had a comedy night that night. They got stuff going on all the time. They got trivia some nights. 80-cent wings Monday through Thursday nights down on East Carson in the South Side. Archie's open every weekend, all day, each weekend day, Saturday and Sunday, all day, all night for all the games. Open on Monday nights too. Thursday night maybe is the spot. If you're not headed to Cincinnati, get to Archie's, get some wings, watch the Stellars and the Bungles. But we appreciate Arch for supporting the show.
Drink a mango.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's best place for food, drinks, and sports. Archie's on Carson.
What kind of wings did you get there the other day, by the way?
I got buffalo. I split my order. I got 10 wings. I got half buffalo and half dry Cajun rub.
You gotta watch that dry. You gotta watch that dry Cajun rub. I had an incident with that once, son.
What happened?
Not there in my youth. Not my youth. Another place where I went to maybe.
Would you get it on your fingers and then like rub your eyes or something?
No, a little worse than that. I had to go take a leak.
You didn't wipe your hands off before you.
I wasn't really thinking. You had a couple mangos. There was no mango at the time. Probably had a couple irons. Went in there, relieved yourself. And you're like, So
burning down there.
Be careful with the dry rubs.
I don't think that's the kind of rub they're talking about. But hey, you do you, Kaboom. This is one of your favorite things. And I think we should do it every week from here on out through the rest of the season. If the season ended today.
Oh, I didn't do that yesterday.
Oh, you should. If the season ended today.
You're still in my gimmick. You're still in my gimmick.
I'm not stealing your gimmick. I'm highlighting your gimmick. What are you talking about?
I don't see my name anywhere there. It should be my name.
Your face is on the screen.
It's still my gimmick.
If the season ended today, the Colts would be the 1 seed in the AFC. Steelers would host the Broncos. Chargers would host the Jags. And the Patriots would host the Bills. And at least right now, they've played an uneven number of games, so they're not tied, obviously.
Who did the Colts lose to?
Was it the... Oh, man, you're going to test me now, and I can't remember. The Colts lost. Did they play the Rams? Is that it? Yeah, they lost to the Rams.
Yeah, so they're very similar because they both have an NFC loss. So they're probably ahead of them right now because they're 5-1, but they probably have
So the tiebreaker,
more divisional games at this point is why they're 1.
Right. So the tiebreaker right now, if their records were actually tied, would be strength of victory because they both have perfect conference records. And the Steelers' strength of victory is slightly better than the Colts. Slightly better.
Just who happens to be coming to Heinz Field in 3 weeks from now?
The Indianapolis Colts could be a massive game. Could be massive when we get to the end of the year, depending on how the rest of this shakes out. Because 2 teams that you don't see on that list, obviously Kansas City, Baltimore. Baltimore may be dead. Kansas City is definitely not. Kansas City would be right there. They are 8th in the AFC right now. So I imagine they make an argument to get back into that conversation. I don't know which of these 7 teams, if Kansas City forces their way back into the playoff picture, kabooms. Which of these teams is most likely to fall out?
Probably
Jacksonville?
No. We'll say they would probably win the division, so maybe the Chargers.
Ooh.
You know I'm not a big Chargers fan.
You're not a fan of anybody.
Not a fan of Chargers.
AFC West outside of
Kansas. I'm not a fan of the Bills. I'm not a fan of the Jaguars. Patriots are intriguing. Broncos, I've seen enough of that.
What's that mean? They're on pace to have like 75 sacks this year or something crazy.
Yeah, they're on pace to looking like crap against the god-darn Jets, but still find a way to win.
They won.
Well, you say that about the Steelers, it's like a negative. When it happens against the Jets, it's a positive.
No. I didn't have a problem. I've said this. I don't care how you win, just win, baby. Al Davis.
Yeah, all these teams, the Steelers play. They play the Bills. They play the Colts. They play the Chargers.
They do not play
the Patriots. Jags. I don't think they play the Broncos either.
No, they do not.
So they got a lot of those guys still in heaven. Right beneath that, like you said, they got a couple with the Ravens and here and there and whatnot. So the thing that helps the Colts out is they do. Well, I can't even say that because AFC North is horse shit too. So.
Well, neither one of them has played a particularly fantastic schedule to this point. Like the Colts have beaten the Dolphins. They did beat the Broncos, but they beat the Titans. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Cardinals. Yeah, both teams are kind of stepping up in weight class over the next several weeks. The Colts get the Chargers this week, I think. And then obviously they come to Pittsburgh a couple weeks after that. They get the Falcons over in Germany, I think. They've still got a trip to Kansas City on their schedule. So
why do we hear? Yeah, I just don't trust the Steelers yet, man. But we don't hear anything about that about the Colts, or am I missing that? Why would you trust the Colts?
I think because some of their offensive numbers have been pretty emphatic, right? Like you've got talent across the board on offense. Daniel Jones looks like a completely different quarterback. You've got a guy who's led the league in rushing before. You've got some weapons on the outside. You got a fantastic rookie tight end. And their defense has improved.
Penn State. No, they got a good running back. Wasn't Jonathan Taylor considered a risk draft pick because he had so many touches in college?
Yeah, where was he?
So much for that. So much for that.
Was it Wisconsin he went to?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
he had good offensive line
last year.
How'd they suck so bad last year then?
Their quarterbacks were Richardson and Flacco. No, I think it's a good point you make, though. Like, if people are going to question the Steelers and where they are, I think it's fair to question the Colts as well. But I think what I just said about the schedule, it applies to both of them over the next month to 5-6 weeks. You'll find out a lot about these two teams, including against each other over the next month.
Honestly, the Packers look like a team that's not invincible, especially when you have your quarterback of 15 years going to be playing against them at Heinz Field.
Picture, by the way.
The Buccaneers.
Our Tampa Bay Bucks are at the top of the list. I say that because we both picked them preseason to go to the NFC Championship game. I mentioned Baker as an outside MVP candidate back in July. Thank you very much.
Lost Seahawks. play the Lions and play the Packers coming up. Okay.
Eagles are a bit of a disaster right now. Lions will be fine. Rams will be fine. Seahawks, like you said, they've been especially good on the road. Defense.
49ers is doing it with smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. What happens if they get people back and start to look even better?
I think your boy C-Mac,
Christian McCaffrey.
I think he's on the of his career.
Down the back half.
You know how I said Bijan was it's apex of his career, and he's going like this. That's where McCaffrey was a couple years ago, and now it's like
Rams Packers would be a good wild card game. I could see the Rams winning that in Green Bay, depending on the weather. Lions Niners would be probably an instant classic based on how those two have played each other in the postseason before. Seahawks Eagles would be pretty good. See if the Eagles could score it all on that Seattle defense, which has been pretty impressive. Jackson Smith and Jigba on pace for like 2,000 receiving yards. So those would be some pretty good NFC matchups, but our preseason pick of the Bucks seems to be working out well.
You're getting out ahead of your skis here a little bit. We're 5 games in.
It's okay. You're the one that came up with the gimmick if the season ended today.
Well, it's just to piss people off.
Okay. Now you've pissed yourself off.
I ain't pissing nobody off.
Thanks to our friends at Nail Studio 2 for supporting the show. They've been on board for a while now, and we appreciate them. Look, whether your kid's actually gone to their homecoming dance yet or not, my daughter went this past weekend. They've still got great deals throughout the month of October. 15% off all services for students. If mom takes them to Nail Studio 2 out there on Route 19, Lakeview Square, next to Juniper Grill in the Peters Township, McMurray area, she can get 15% off as well. All kinds of great deals throughout the month of October. They've refurbished and renovated the place. It looks fantastic. You can check out all the pictures on their Instagram at Nail Studio 2. Or just go online. If you're going to book an appointment anyway, you can do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at nailstudio2.com. That's a Roman numeral 2. So nailstudioii.com. Or give them a call, 724-941-4595. We appreciate them supporting the show as well. Real quick recap of our picks, because you got to run to go talk to the coordinators.
What time does he talk to? I can't remember now. Let me see. It says Arthur Smith, 11:45.
Yeah. So
it's going to be a quick practice, I bet. I think it's just a glorified walkthrough-ish. Then they're done for the week.
Yeah. And then tomorrow it's off to Cincy.
I go Thursday morning.
Well, yeah, you're not on the team.
Dude, I'm going to go with the team, and I'm going to go with the Montgomery Inn ribs.
Is there any decent food in Cincinnati?
No, Montgomery Inn. They got some
great
ribs. Yeah, that is awful.
Like Skyline Philly is an abomination.
Yeah, I leave that in the toilet every other day. Woo!
Quick recap of the picks. You had the Chargers. I had the Dolphins. You had the Patriots. I had the Saints. I had Carolina. I told you, Rico Daddle revenge game. You had the Cowboys. I had Tampa. You had San Francisco. Every other game we picked the same on. So you're still just one game behind me.
You better get that blue paint out for your hair.
Who said anything about blue?
What did I say?
We said black. Said we would dye our hair. I mean, we didn't even say black. We just said the loser has to dye their hair.
I'm just creating rules as we go.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. Before I let you run, did you see what happened at the end of Monday Night Raw last night, Mr. WWE.com?
Yeah, and what did I write the other day? I wrote, the vision has cracks.
Ooh.
It might not happen at Crown Jewel, but it's going to happen soon. I just don't know where you're going from here. I have a feeling you're going to see
Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins heavyweight title match, I would imagine.
You're probably going to see the whole group of them get together for Survivor Series.
The whole group of who?
Jay, Jimmy, Roman, Punk.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll have on the other side Who knows? Brock, Cody. I don't know. I mean,
There's too much going on.
I think it's just a question of now. I don't know where Paul Heyman goes from here now, and that's always a good view of what they're thinking. Okay, he's right now staying with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
But is that worth staying with a tag team? Don't you need an alpha dog amongst those guys? Or is he going to go back with Brock Lesnar? But if he goes with Brock Lesnar, Brock doesn't have a full schedule, so you're not going to see him enough. Maybe Brock Lesnar becomes the new vision leader.
Yeah, you got to have somebody in the group that can work the mic.
Yeah.
Can't just be Heyman carrying that.
Well, Justin, that's the whole point of it, buddy. It doesn't really make any sense right now at all. Who's going to be part of the War Games? Maybe Brock. Maybe the new version of the Udafala gang with. Did you see Tama Tonga come back and they all dressed in like black war paint?
Yeah, it was kind of scary.
Yeah, but I don't know how much that moves the needle for.
Feels like they're spinning their wheels a little bit over the last.
It's that time of the it's that time of the year where you're just trying to get to the end of the year, get the Survivor Series, then get the Royal Rumble.
Ooh, I like that suggestion.
Yes.
MTFs versus the Wyatt Six. I like that.
Yeah.
A whole lot of black lights involved with that. So tomorrow, you on board for tomorrow? We'll do a preview of the game.
What's tomorrow?
You got nothing going on. There's nothing scheduled down on the south side.
Wednesday, Thursday, I don't give a shit. Thursday, I'll probably leave here around noon.
All right. Well, we'll knock something out tomorrow, maybe. Get a preview of the game.
I said Wednesday or Thursday. You're like, okay, Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. Giving you time to get out and get moving to Cincinnati.
I just don't think, honestly, I don't think that the post-game show is probably a good idea.
What?
It's going to be like 1 a.m.
Man.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe we could just do it Friday morning. You'll be driving home, though, won't you?
Yeah, I will be driving home.
Man, why you got to let the people down like this?
I just don't know. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense if people are going to be here at 1 a.m. Unless you go like 20 minutes.
Everybody in the YouTube chat right now, you'd be here at 1 a.m, right? Or we do it Friday. Either way, we'll get a post-game edition.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live, damn it. We'll do it live. All right. Thanks to everybody for supporting the show. We appreciate each and every one of our sponsors, each and every one of you watching and listening. Don't forget to follow on all the social media at Kaboly+Mack and subscribe on YouTube as well. We'll be back, I don't know, whenever Kaboom decides we should do it, probably tomorrow. Thanks for